I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something different about me today. In case nobody knew, I'm what they call a graduate right now.
What is the full meaning of NYSC? One more chance.
There are some acronyms that are
hi.
intuitive. When I entered 400 level, I felt like there was no need to be excited about graduating. Like, why? What are you excited about?
How do you even know you really want to be a lawyer?
Yeah.
Is it because that was the best you knew?
They always tell us in the exam, advise the parties. Was I there when the parties started this issue?
How did you even survive with this hair? They not cut them.
How did I survive with this hair in law faculty? There's an idea of what the ideal law student is supposed to be.
Theater art students, bullshit.
Yeah.
That's where all the people that want to be useless in life go to.
People really underestimate how challenging law is. See, 300 level. 300 level.
Yeah.
I wanted to drop out. I'm not enjoying it. I feel so uninspired. Every single day I walk into this environment, I want to kill myself. I suffered and I didn't even know why I was suffering.
Do you feel like you're prepared for the future?
All right, everyone. Welcome to the Cliffhanger podcast.
Welcome.
We're back.
We're back, baby.
How does it feel to be back?
Feels good.
We're back on this couch.
We're back, man. We're back.
Man, it's been a long time.
I've missed this, actually.
You've missed this?
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, same here. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something different about me today.
Oh, yeah. Something is different about you. I can see your sash.
Something is obviously different.
Now you're showing off,
In case nobody knew, what they call a graduate right now.
Oh, boy.
You can see from the sash, I have graduated from the university, law degree acquired.
Congratulations, bro.
LLB class of 2023. Done with school, man.
How does it feel to be a graduate?
It feels amazing.
Like,
It
did you
feels
feel
wonderful.
different the first morning you woke up as a graduate?
Obviously, it feels different. It
Really?
feels different, obviously, because for the first time, you can sleep without any academic pressure.
Okay.
Like, you sleep and you don't feel anything. You don't feel any nervousness. You don't feel that you have some unfinished business. You know, there's something that you have to do that you haven't done, something that you need to attend to.
Yeah.
Or else there will be like some dire consequence. You don't feel any of that thing. You
It's
just
just
sleep.
like
and
you're
wake
home
up.
free finally.
Exactly. No
worries.
next semester.
No student worries.
No student worries. No next semester. Nothing like that. It feels amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
Congratulations.
much.
Welcome
Thank
to the graduate gang, you know? Yeah, I forgot the fist bump.
Thank you.
Welcome
so
to the
much.
graduate gang. You know,
It's amazing.
NYSC. Do you remember this thing that used to rain back then? What's the
Yeah.
full meaning of NYSC? Do you know the answer?
What's the full meaning of NYSC?
Yes.
National Youth Service Corps.
Proper Gen Z. that
Like, who
you
doesn't
are.
know the meaning of NYSC?
Get out of here, Jerry. Look, this is how you know Gen Zs. Like the real ones. In fact, anyone that knows the answer to this question, be like say your own Gen Z no pure like that.
No. Like,
What is the full meaning of NYSC? One more chance.
there are some acronyms that are
hi.
intuitive. Like, you know the answer. Even if you don't know, even if you haven't thought of it. Like, I don't go around memorizing the meaning
Hey.
of NYSC. It's just something that you know.
It's okay. Now let me tell you. NYSC means now your struggle continues.
Well, good thing I haven't served.
Oh my god, I can't believe you didn't know that.
Are you serious?
Now your struggle
Okay, I
continues.
think I know it.
You know,
I've heard of it
this
before.
nice surrender, this was like the height of fun back then.
Yeah.
What's the full meaning of, okay, what would I say now? Ibadan.
Yes. What's the full meaning of Ibadan? I don't know.
Oh my
It's
god.
Ibadan.
Oh my god.
Is it Igbo people?
Oh yeah, I feel like just grating your head over this couch. You don't know.
What does it mean?
Igbo boys are dangerous at night. That was everybody's favorite one. Okay, tell me as an Igbo boy.
I have no idea. About that.
No, what?
I pose no danger or threat to anybody.
I'm so surprised that you don't
Say
know
it.
the full meaning of Ibadan. That was everybody's favorite.
But NYSC, now your struggle continues.
Oh, yeah.
That is such a demoralizing thing to tell someone that has graduated and
Yeah.
he's about to enter into the labor market. It makes the fear worse.
You know, that fear is actually like, will I say, a prevalent feeling
Yeah.
that almost every graduate faces.
I faced it.
So how was it for you?
It was crazy. At first, it started when I was in 400 level. Yeah. So like when I entered 400 level,
Yeah.
That's when it became apparent to me that more graduation is
You don't
around the
finish.
corner.
You don't finish.
Yeah, and I'll hear some of my classmates like vocalize their excitement for graduations, like, "Hey, I can't wait." And me, I was never part of them. In fact, I would always ask myself, "What is making you people happy? Why are you people rejoicing? Did anybody promise you people a wonderful career or a wonderful future out there? Like, why are you guys rejoicing?" I felt like there was no need to be excited about graduating. Like, why? What are you excited about?
Did you feel that way up until the end? Like,
You said?
did you still feel that way up until the end?
Yeah,
like
I'm getting
500
there.
level.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So, I felt very nervous. I felt very, very apprehensive because for the first time, I mean, we've been in this institution where, like, school is this kind of place that insulates you from realities. You know, as a student, you are allowed to adopt the identity of a student. I feel like
Yeah.
that's one of the best things that school does for you. It can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing,
Yes,
right?
yes.
School confers upon you an identity, a status. So when anybody asks you, "What are you doing?" you can say, "I'm a student."
I'm a student.
Right? And it absolves you from responsibility to a degree. Nobody really expects anything much from you because, of course, you're a student, right? So
Yeah.
you can just cruise through life, basically not taking yourself too seriously, you know, no pressure. You're
The
a
future
student.
can wait. It's not imminent. It can wait.
But for the first time, you know, we're approaching the expiration of this identity. You cannot move around and tell anybody you're a student again. Now people expect things from you. When people ask you questions, they expect something from you. You're supposed to be somewhere. You're supposed to be doing something. And I started feeling this pressure of having to figure out your life because I was so clueless. I was very clueless. You know, I've always felt for the longest time like I've been pulled towards two opposite directions. In one direction, there's the opportunity to be a lawyer,
Yeah.
practice law, get plunged into this corporate
Do
world.
the whole corporate thing.
Exactly. And on the other aspect, the other end, there is the opportunity to be a creative, be a filmmaker, you know, lean into my passion for making videos and telling telling visual stories and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And you know, one is predictable, one is unpredictable. The predictability of entering into the corporate world, getting
Yeah.
employed by someone, you know,
Being
there's that
a part of the system.
being a part of the system, there's this predictability that you are headed somewhere. You know
Yeah.
that if I spend 1 year working at this thing, I would get here, right? There's that predictability of that path, and it's secure. Makes you
Yes.
feel
Oh, that's security.
yes,
it's
safe.
safe.
It's safe, it's secure, and it's very appealing.
Yes.
And on the other hand, there's the trajectory of trying to make it as a filmmaker. What does it even mean to be a filmmaker in 2023? How do you start?
Yeah.
Where do you go to? What does it mean to say I'm a filmmaker?
Yes.
You want to make videos, you have passion for visual storytelling.
Yeah.
It's very unpredictable. There seems to be no entry point, there seems to be no starting point. The whole space is just very, very confusing.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Anything is possible, and yet
anything
it
is
feels
possible,
like
and it
nothing
feels
is
like
possible.
nothing is possible. Like 1 second you're hearing
You can
stories of
do
people that have
anything.
made it and people that are ultra successful.
Yeah.
And you're hearing stories of people that they've been chasing this thing for the past 10 years and they've not arrived anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's very scary. Although I know that that's where that's where I feel called towards. I feel called towards that direction.
Okay.
But there's just that fear of what if it doesn't work out. So I've always felt like I'm being pulled in two opposite directions, and it was very apparent that your student card is expiring. Now you have to pick.
Oh yeah.
Like I've been in this position of pulled in two opposite ends for the longest time, and there hasn't been any real consequence to it, right?
Okay.
But now you're graduating, you have to pick. Where do
Yes.
you go to?
Yeah.
So that was what made me so fearful, so apprehensive. I was so scared. But when I got into 500 level, it was obvious that, you're not running away from this thing. You're graduating next semester.
Yeah.
I was still feeling a little bit of that. But then, as I entered second semester, I told myself, man, you can't live in fear. You can't live in fear of the future. So there are two things you can do. You can either choose to be fearful.
Okay.
You can either choose to be apprehensive, And of course, it's counterproductive. You're not gaining anything from that feeling.
Oh yes.
You're not growing. In fact, it does the opposite. It just makes you diminish.
It takes
as an
more from
individual.
you and gives you
It
nothing
takes,
in
it
return.
takes a toll from you.
Yes.
It's exasperating.
Exhausting. It's
Yeah.
exhausting.
Or you can take the route of excitement. Why not adopt a curious mindset, a curious approach to this phase of your life?
So that was how you felt like towards the end.
That was how I felt
Excitement.
towards the end. I told myself, you're graduating, nothing can be done about it. And you're getting plunged into this space of unpredictability. You don't know what the future holds.
Yeah.
And you can be excited by that. You can be curious about the fact that for the first time, I'm leaving this space of predictability. I'm leaving this environment where everything has been laid out for us. All our schedule is always laid out for us. Every single day, we know what's going to happen. Today you have company law, you have jurisprudence, you have this, you have that, you have human rights. Like everything is laid out for you. You have people telling you what to do. The semester is going to last for 3 months. And revision, exam, it's very predictable. And for the first time, you're entering into this world where nothing is certain.
Yeah.
You don't even know how tomorrow is going to be. It's up to you. However tomorrow ends up, you determine that. You set that up for yourself.
Yeah.
And you can be curious. You can adopt this curious approach towards it, and it can be exciting. It's like, let's see what tomorrow holds. Let's see what I'm going to be. Let's see what I transform myself into. Like, I'm done with this phase. I'm approaching it in the next phase of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see what it looks like. I'm curious to see how that turns out for me. I'm curious to see what I can make of that. And so that was the mindset I adopted. And I found out that I felt less pressured.
Okay.
I felt less, I felt that pressure just reduced. I no longer felt boxed into a corner to figure your life out, have all the answers. I was like, no.
The truth is
I
that you're
don't
figuring
have-
out nothing.
I was like,
Nothing.
I was
Trust
like,
me.
I don't have all the answers,
Of
and I'm good.
course.
I'm good with not having all the answers. Let's see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why on my Instagram post, I wrote something about the end of a legal journey, but the start of an adventure, right? And that's basically encapsulates my mindset. I was like, an adventure is starting. Let's see how it goes. So
Okay.
that's how I handled it.
So being a lawyer, like
Mhm.
now you're done with your law program.
Yeah.
But do you remember like the very first time? This question they always ask children.
Yeah.
What do you want to be when you grow up? I've had so many answers over the years.
Yeah.
Up until I decided.
Yeah.
But do you have any memory of your very first answer to that question?
My very first answer.
How early was that, and do you remember?
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Yes.
I think my very first answer was to be a lawyer. And that was because, of course, back then I didn't even really understand what a lawyer was.
Yeah.
But daddy is a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I admire daddy. I've always admired daddy since I was a child. We see him prep for cases,
Oh yeah.
call us into the parlor, and
It
it's
was a
just
whole thing.
exactly.
It
So
was
he's
a
always
whole
speaking
thing.
he speaks with authority and enthusiasm and passion, and I wanted that for myself. That's the reason why as early as I started learning how to speak, I started debating, because I've always loved the idea of aggregating your thoughts and communicating that to people and just expressing yourself
Yeah.
verbally and vocally, and being an articulate speaker and a confident speaker. Like that shaped a very huge part of my identity. And I was like, lawyers do this. They do
yeah.
this for a living. I want to be a lawyer.
The first
Yeah.
thing that I thought I ever wanted to be.
What?
I think I should have been. I don't think you were even born then. You're still in Calabar.
Rub it in my
Varsity.
face.
No, you weren't born then.
Rub it in my face now. I wasn't born then.
Nah, you were. Or maybe you were a baby. Maybe. But I know we're still at Basiduke.
Okay.
And when the first time they asked me, what do you want to be? I was like,
What was your answer?
I want to be a banker. And my idea was, there's money in the bank. That's
Yeah.
where all the money is.
Yeah.
And these bankers get to go to the bank and they're in charge. This was my idea. Then they're in
Yeah.
charge of all this money.
Yeah.
I want to be a banker. I remember that was like my first answer. And then it kept changing and changing over the years,
Yeah.
And I think at some point I was like, I want to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
But I didn't even really know anything much about careers. Like I didn't have a broad idea of what career paths were open to someone.
Yeah.
I remember there are certain times in my life when that thing has hit me that you don't even know what careers are available out there.
Yeah.
How do you even know you really want to be a lawyer?
Yeah.
Is it because that was the best you knew at the time, which is the truth? Law was.
That's exactly how
there was
it
a point where it was like, okay, I'm an art student. I always knew, there's this dichotomy, art or science in Nigeria is a whole thing. And in my own school, I think you chose by SS2, you choose art or science classes, please everybody.
Yeah.
And back then, even like I had watched my elder sisters, like Adana and Ekoma, do the whole thing. So I had already started planning mine from early on. I was like, art or science, which one would I go for? I always instinctively knew that science wasn't I didn't have that interest at all.
Yeah.
I didn't have that interest. People were like, oh, and then it was a whole thing. You're smart, you're book smart, you should be in the sciences. That was the idea.
Yeah.
Science students are smarter than art students. Like there was a whole debate.
Yeah.
Like science students or art students who are smarter. And I think some people even felt this pressure. Oh, I'm book smart. I better enter science. So that's where all the smart people
are. Yeah.
So I got this thing of, oh, you're smart, you should be a science student. I'm like, no, I don't want to be a science student.
Yeah.
Doctor, So I always knew it was art for me, whatever art meant. Even though I didn't really think, I knew whatever art was, like, I want to be there.
Yeah.
But by the time I got to that point, I was like, okay, what's the best course that an art student can be?
Yeah.
What's the highest thing you can be?
The highest thing that you can achieve.
You can aspire to as an art student.
For.
Law.
Yeah.
And then daddy was already a lawyer.
Yeah.
He wanted me to be. In fact, daddy has been obsessed with. In fact, if left to daddy, all of us
should be lawyers.
No, not just all of us. In fact, the whole world.
The whole world should be lawyers.
We should all be lawyers.
We should all be lawyers.
You're a doctor, but are you sure you don't need a law degree somewhere there? You're a musician, Davido. Now you're Davido, very successful. I think you should add a law degree to it. Burna Boy, you're so fierce. You should be a lawyer too. With everything you have the Grammys, be a lawyer.
Yeah.
That's just how daddy is. Everybody should have a law degree, be a lawyer.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that was what it looks like for it. And I think so many people's career choices at that stage of life looks that way. Then the first time I had that experience of seeing something different that interested me practically was when I entered the university.
Yeah.
Now I ended up not studying law.
Yeah.
And I entered the university and the faculty of arts, the theater arts department was very close to my hostel.
Yeah.
And I would pass by there and look at what I'm like, ooh, I love what's happening there.
Yeah.
And in secondary school there was this whole thing of theater arts students, bullshit.
Yeah.
Nonsense. That's where all the people that want to be useless in life go to.
They use it to threaten us in the faculty. They will
come and say, all the never do wells go to.
They will come and say, when I was 100 level, you are behaving like a theater art student. Are you sure we will not send you there?
You got that?
If your GP is low, we'll send you to theater arts. They use it to threaten law students, right? So you grow up in the university with this mindset of theater arts is where
nothing happens. Yeah,
is where I shouldn't be.
The place you shouldn't go.
Then
the place you don't want to go.
Surprisingly, I started to admire the theater art students.
Oh yeah.
I started to admire their, the way they put out their creativity, the way they just feel. I felt like theater art students were the students that enjoyed university. Like they were enjoying. I felt like they were enjoying themselves. Yes,
they could breathe.
Yes,
and it was very rigorous because I used to watch them all the time. They were very close to my hostel.
Yeah.
So I used to watch them whenever I'll pass by there. I'll hear music. I'll see them, and they look so interesting.
They looked very interesting.
I'll watch them. I'm like, una not tell us this thing they like this now.
I swear.
And personally, I felt this pull towards them and what was happening there.
Yeah.
I was like, if I knew that this had this thing, is maybe. It would have been on the list of courses that I could have done.
Yeah.
Because I was like, and for the first time, I realized how so many of us didn't even get to explore the career options that were open to us.
Yeah.
And I guess at the time, the entertainment industry really wasn't what it currently is right now.
Yeah.
So, because even back then, I guess many of them is like, what are you going to use the degree to do?
Yeah.
We didn't have much of an entertainment industry and as developed as it is right now in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So I guess now there are more opportunities and of course more opportunities to dream.
Yeah.
But that was my first experience. I looked at them and I was like, ooh, I love what is happening here.
Yeah.
maybe I could have been that, but I never knew.
Yeah.
Then the second time was during my NYSC.
Yeah.
My flatmate, he was he's a light technician.
Yeah.
He does lighting and all of that. First time I was like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a job. People do this.
Yeah.
And then he was like, when you look at the concerts and you see all the lighting, all these shows you look, I'm like, yeah, for some reason I see all the lighting. You know, you watch videos of shows and everything. It just doesn't occur to me that's someone's job. I'm like, wow, people are doing such cool things.
Yeah.
You know, people are doing such, I'm like, wow, how didn't I know this? Well, maybe I wanted to be a light technician. No,
Yeah.
I don't want to be, because I'm not going to be climbing. There's a lot of climbing. It's like architecture.
Yes.
It's like architecture. I've watched them work. I'm like, wow.
It's physically demanding.
Yes, it is. But I'm like, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
Some people don't know they want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's why I'm always curious, you know, like, when did you know you want to be a lawyer?
Yeah.
Like,
You know, the first time the whole what you want to be stuff, like when I put myself in this mess that I've been in for a very long time or more, you know, back then it was lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. That's the only thing I knew. I want to be a lawyer.
there was a single-mindedness to it. You know?
I entered, you know, in primary school we had debates. Teachers are better than lawyers. I was on the lawyer side.
Of course.
Finish the teachers like this.
That is such a flawed debate.
Very flawed.
Debating motion, you know.
And it is so terrible to force children.
Oh, yeah.
Or to make children debate emotion called teachers are better than lawyers.
Teachers are better than lawyers.
That is so terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, I supported the lawyers. I won the debates, you know, and all that. So for a very long time, for the longest time, it's been law. That's what I want to do, right? Until I started watching Nickelodeon. Shit. I started watching Nickelodeon, and I saw children my age. I was still in primary. I think I was in JSS 1 then, or primary school. I can't remember. I saw children my age, 8, 9, 10, 11, acting on like kids shows, right? When you watch the iCarly's, iCarly, Victorious, Drake and Josh, Sam and Kat, those were the ones back then. And then, like, I watched Nickelodeon and I was always enchanted by it. I would go to school and I can't wait to come back from school so I can turn on Nickelodeon. And I wasn't just watching Nickelodeon for the sake of entertainment. I was watching it because I wanted to be one of these children. Like, I saw myself on the TV screen. I wanted to be one of these kids. Like, I think I wrote Dan Schneider an email. Like, Dan Schneider was the director of almost all the Nickelodeon shows back then, right? Back then it was just Yahoo Mail that we had. I don't think there was Gmail. No. So I feel so old saying that. Gmail wasn't, you know, at least it wasn't popular if it was even in vogue.
And
then.
depending on the phone you were using.
Yeah, but back then it was Yahoo. I think I stole the Nest phone and emailed Dan Schneider or something like that. I really wanted to act on Nickelodeon. And since then, that was when it was in my head. I was like, so it's possible. It's a thing. It's a thing. But then I look at my environment and I'm like, I don't know anybody.
Was that why you started your YouTube channel?
That's exactly why I started my YouTube channel.
Oh.
That's exactly why I started YouTube. I was like, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody that is around me. I don't know any Nigerian that has ever made it into Nickelodeon. I don't know them.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. We don't have kids shows. We don't have things like that. And, you know, it's something I always played in my head. And, you know, I'll just, when you're daydreaming, I'll just daydream.
Yeah.
And that was it, right? And then, you know, I came across YouTube and I was like, yo, so it's possible you can televise yourself on the internet. And I was like, okay, sign me up. Right. But even since then, it wasn't really a real thing. It's just, it's an idea that you play with in your head, but it's not real. Law is real. Law is a profession that has been in existence for hundreds of years. It's real. It's set in stone. It's concrete. When you come out and tell somebody I'm a lawyer, they know that you're doing something with your life.
Yeah.
Right? That's the part. So I never really gave myself permission to be a creative until I was like in 300 level. When I started my production company, my production business, Citygraph. That was when I gave myself permission to like walk that path and see what it can be. I was always scared of doing any other thing apart from the conventional thing, which is, get into university, study law, get high grades, and graduate, hope to get a job in one of the biggest law firms, and build your legal career and hopefully become, something approximating Femi Falana. You understand?
But 300 level is like one of the most rigorous like points in your studies.
See, 300 level. 300 level.
Yeah.
I wanted to drop out. That was the first time dropping out crossed my mind. I knew I wasn't going to drop out, obviously. Somewhere at the bottom of my mind, I knew I wasn't going to drop out. But 300 level was the first time that I entertained the idea of dropping out from school. And it was because of, I got to a point in my university journey where I lost my sense of purpose. I didn't feel like I had a sense of purpose anymore. I was like, why am I doing this? Why do I keep coming to this place? The more I progressed, it kept getting uninspiring. I wasn't inspired. It wasn't interesting. I'm a kind of person that I can't get into routines. The moment I get into a routine, I get increasingly bored. I started feeling like there was no essence behind what I was doing. It got to a point where I felt like the only reason why we are coming here is so that we can just write exams. And I think that's one of the flaws, I would say, in how the faculty of law is composed. Everything, there's a lot of emphasis on results. A lot of emphasis is on your results. Just score high, get a high result, or they will post your result on the notice board and people will laugh at you. You understand? Like, that's the whole incentive. And I'm like, is that all there is to life? That is the reason, the cardinal reason why we are here. Just to write exams at the end of the day, get tested, and you fall into this routine of you come to school, attend classes, read just to score high in exam, and it didn't feel like there was any higher purpose, there was any higher reason for why we were here, and it was so demoralizing. It was so demoralizing. It was so sucking. I felt like it was sucking the soul out of me, and for the first time, I found myself entertaining the idea of dropping out. Yeah.
Was it at that time that you got your camera and decided to just start making videos again?
I got my camera.
Which came first? Was it that feeling, that lack of inspiration you felt studying law and that need to break out of the routine?
Yeah.
Did you feel that? And then was it around that time you got your camera, or did you get your camera and then start feeling that restlessness?
Yeah, it was the later. I got my camera. When I got my camera during COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, because 2020, there was nothing to do. I was, and I knew I wanted to do something different. Okay. I wanted to do something that it wasn't law, right? Even during the ASU strike, the COVID, the pandemic era, metastasized into the ASU strike era. Because immediately after the COVID period, ASU went on strike, and it was just this long, extended holiday.
Yeah.
And, I had classmates going on internships. I had classmates engaging themselves in one legal affair or the other. And I knew that, I already have school. I don't want to spend my time outside school still doing school-related activities. It would have felt like such a waste. Like, why don't I apply myself to something completely different? Right? And that was when I got my camera.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that, I can even edit videos. As a matter of fact, before I got admission, I've been editing videos. I've been making videos. Why don't I go back to that? It's something I genuinely enjoyed. I loved. So, although you feel this type of way that I'm not doing enough. I have my friends pursuing internships in all these big law firms, and I want to carry a camera. But I felt that compulsion. It's like I felt like there was something unexplored that I had to explore. When you feel like you want to find something.
Oh yeah.
Like there's something missing that you want to find. So that was when I got my camera, and then I started getting introduced into the whole camera world and creating world, visual storytelling, making videos, filming events, filming commercials and all that. Basically coming up with an idea and watching that idea go through multiple stages to a point where it crystallizes into something concrete, something real.
Yeah.
That feeling was like a drug. I could not get enough of it. I could not get enough of the fact that I can envision something that doesn't yet exist and reach into the unknown, reach into the ether, and pull into reality something that doesn't exist and it exists.
Oh yeah.
it comes into existence, and people can experience it. People can interact with it, and it felt like a superpower. And the more I did it, the more I got drawn into it, and that was when that dissonance started.
Okay.
I started feeling like, I was being pulled in two opposite directions, because we have this other space in law where there is a principle in law called the doctrine of stare decisis, which basically is the doctrine of judicial precedence. For anything to exist, it must rely on something existing before it. That is judicial precedence explained in the most simple way, right? And it felt like you have to do something. For you to do something, it has to rely on something that existed. Like, there was no room for innovation. There's no room for creativity. There's no room to infuse your own personality. I found myself questioning a lot of things in law. Why do we have to do it this way? Why do we have to follow this method? Okay, this is the laid out principle. Why? But my mind is telling me I should do it this way. Why don't I do it this way? Why don't I add this thing?
The law is not creative, dear.
That was something I struggled with.
The law is the law.
Exactly. The law is the law.
The law is the law.
The law is what the law is.
Exactly.
You can't deviate. You can't break out. You can't incorporate.
No.
And it was so frustrating. It was. I can't not create.
So at this point that you started creating,
Yeah.
and you started creating at the thick of your studies, basically.
Yeah.
How were you able to find balance, or even like run both things, handle both things at the same time?
That's exactly why I was in that. I was in that state of cognitive dissonance, because there was no balance for me. People always ask me, I don't know, people look at me from the outside and think that, I had this organized system where I combined creating and running a production business, a video production business, with being a student. And the honest
being a
answer,
law
being a law student,
you know.
the honest answer was that I never found any balance. There was no balance for me. Anytime I'm attending to clients, filming a wedding, commercial, or whether it was making videos for my YouTube channel and all that, there was no intersection. Like, I was pulled into this whole space, and my academics suffered. I attended classes less. I paid less attention to school. I didn't study, and I found my academic life was just, in a pit. And whenever exams will start drawing closer, we have tests, I get this reminder that, you're a student to go and study, go and start paying attention to school, start attending classes so you don't miss your tests, because lecturers can just pop in and give a surprise test.
Yes.
And then my business suffered. My creativity suffered. I felt blind. Like, the best way I could describe it was that I felt blind every time I'm coming to school. I couldn't see again. I felt like I was no longer creative. I couldn't make things. I couldn't get ideas. I couldn't work on my client videos. I'll have clients that will complain, you're delaying my video, this one and that one. And, it was a roller coaster for me. So I never found that balance. I never found that balance. Even up until the point where I graduated, no balance.
So that's one of the reasons why you're so happy that, finally.
It's over. I would say
I'm done.
The closest thing to balance that I found was when I made videos in school.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Like, at some point, I found a way to make videos in school. To turn, what's around you? I'm in school. I have law students around me. You're studying law. You have lecturers. There's this I started to see a narrative play out in front of me. And I was like, what if I make videos about this space? The first time I did it, that was when I made the ASU strike video. I was like, we've been away from school for 8 months. That is so long. That is a very long time to be away from school. Something has happened.
And that was when you started making YouTube videos again. It was within that time.
Yeah. The first time I started making YouTube videos was before I got admission. I was into making videos and all that. And once I got admission, I dropped everything to be a law student. I had in mind to be this perfect law student. Read, as they always tell us in 100 level, focus on your academics and all that. I had this idea in mind of what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And I picked it up again after the ASU strike. That was when our 300 level holiday was over. I found myself settling into the idea of, this is who I am.
Okay.
I'm a creative. I'm also a law student. It's not one or the other.
Okay.
Like you're both of these things
at the same time.
Find a way to integrate them. And that was when I got the idea of, okay, let me make a video about the fact that we've been away from school for eight months. Something transformative has definitely happened in those 8 months. How do I incorporate making videos with being a law student? And I came up with that idea, and I made the video about coming back to the law faculty after being away from school for 8 months of ASU strike. And my goal with that video was to sort of highlight how the strike affects us students, specifically law students. Being away from school for that long, what has happened to us? How has this situation where we have no control over the government, or the ASU body just wakes up one morning and says, go on strike. As a student, you have no control over that. So I was trying to highlight that situation and also try to shine a light on students' perspective. Okay. Because if you watch the news, what you see is, ASU said this, ASU said that, ASU has brought a new demand, the FG is saying this, ASU is saying that. It's always a back and forth conversation between ASU and the FG. And I'm like, where do students fit in? What do students have to say? What's their opinion? And I just came up with an idea to make that video. And
that was a very lovely video. I personally loved it.
And I felt very good making it.
But I'll tell you what my personal favorite video of yours is. The party video. I love that video.
Yeah.
That video. I love the energy. I love the people in the video, I love your classmates. Their energy was so pure. I love the idea. I love that party thing. I know there's this idea that law students are very rigid. Yeah. They're very... they're very cold and what's the word I'm going to use? They're standoffish. Yeah. They are boring. They're proud. They're arrogant. They don't have time for fun. They are bookworms. Yeah. And so that video you made of the party you guys did was quite interesting. So just tell me a little bit about, partying, extracurricular activities as a law student. Because people have this idea law students don't know how to have fun. Yeah. They are just in their white and black, all the time. So tell me a little bit about your social life as a student and the kind of extracurricular activities that law students get up to in the faculty.
So the thing is that, there's this idea that law students don't have fun, law students don't interact and all that. And that is true to an extent, right? Because I would say the reason why that is, at least from my perspective, is because law faculty is a very self-sufficient environment. Everything happens in law faculty. Yeah. The faculty is like a mini institution in the larger institution, which is Imo State University. Yes. And I think that's the same for almost every law faculty in every institution. Law is the law faculty is very, very self-sufficient. We have our own building. We have our own lecture theater. It's exclusive. It's kind of detached. We have our own space in the school. So you can be in school for a whole academic year, and there are certain places that you haven't been to. Not because you don't want to, but because you have no reason to be there. Even if you want to eat, we have our canteen inside the faculty. We have Sir White, right? So nothing is taking you out. What's taking you out of the faculty?
I feel like every level has a Sir White. We had a Sir White in school. I think every student has a Sir White in their level. We had a Sir White.
We have, even if it's to eat, we have Sir White. What are you going out for?
But that's besides the point.
Everything happens in law faculty, right? So everything happens in there. We have our law dinner, right? We have, if you want to party, come to law dinner. After law dinner, we have award night. So everything happens in law faculty. Nothing is taking you out. So it's kind of difficult to socialize. It's kind of difficult to have a life outside the faculty. So that's the reason why it was kind of challenging even like if I talk about my university journey when it comes to socializing, I don't have a lot of friends outside law faculty.
Okay.
And why would you? It's not because you're proud. It's not because you don't want to interact. It's because of there's hardly any need to. You don't even spend time outside the faculty. So you barely know people outside the faculty.
But you guys still found your way to, have fun amongst yourselves and everything.
So, like, it started getting to a point where I feel like we wanted external stimuli. We wanted things that are outside the faculty, and then I have a friend, Odogu Games. Shout out to Odogu Games. So Odogu was like, he started this thing where he would throw parties and all that, and law students will attend. So it started as a law students thing, and then it started to expand. People from other departments, other faculties wanted to be a part of it, and instead becoming big. And, I had this idea that, okay, let me show this aspect of law students where it seems from the outside that we can't have fun, we can't interact and all
cold
that.
And boring motherfuckers.
And largely, it's true. So if you watch the video, there was this dichotomy I created between, like, the only time we get to have fun in the faculty is during law dinner and award nights.
Everything has to be so official.
Very official, where you're black and white and all that.
So serious.
So serious. And I was like, fuck it. Let's have fun. Let's show this other aspect of ourselves. Let's put ourselves in an environment that is not the whole official law faculty strict box. And that was what I was trying to achieve with that video. So I made this video where, as law students, our exams were coming up in like a few weeks' time. I think it was 2 weeks. Our exams were 2 to 3 weeks away. And Odogu was hosting a party. And it was crazy. It felt crazy because we're in this faculty that prioritizes results and scoring high and reading for exams and all that. And the idea was like, even if it's for once, let's just have fun. Let's just kick back with our friends and relax and do something atypical of law students. And I just made that video. And I showed all the process and all that. And there was this argument, between the people I call the A students.
Don't give out the whole video. See, if you've not watched the video, that's your business.
Well, don't tell them. Video.
Don't tell them. See, in fact, I will end this gist.
No, I will link the video. Yeah.
This gist now, if you want to know what happened in that video, go and watch it. Because at this point we have to do, and if you know, you know.
If you know, you know, right?
For those who have watched the video, you understand now, Abi.
So I would say my happiest moment in law faculty was when I started to learn how to integrate my creative aspect with the faculty whenever I could, because it wasn't every time I had those opportunities, right? So whenever I could, I would always find a way to integrate making videos, making films, creating with being a law student, and try to merge the two things together, because at the end of the day, that combination, as contradictory as it might seem, as diametrical as it might be, it's me. It's who I am. And that was the paradigm shift I had that kind of saw me through the whole law process, at least the ending part.
So let's say someone puts you on a time machine to go back to meet Clifford Temple on his very first day in the faculty, or let's say on his matriculation day, because that's the picture that's like fresh in my head. Let's say Clifford Temple in that matric gown, feeling all cool and everything. First of all, what was the feeling at that level, 100 level?
Matriculating.
How did you feel in 100 level? Who was Clifford Temple when he started the Faculty of Law, his law program and everything?
Man, I felt on top of the world, man, because I would say Clifford Temple, I had a kind of, my admission journey was different because I stayed 2 years before I got admission, right? Like my only saving grace was that I went to school early. So I came out from secondary school quite young. I left secondary school at 16. So by the time I got admission, I was 18.
No, you weren't 15. So I think you were 15.
I was 15.
Yes, 15.
I was 15, but I turned 16 later that year.
And your birthday is like so down in the year.
So I left secondary school July 2016. I was 15 when I left secondary school. So by the time I got admission, I was 18. 2 years had already passed. And I waited to get law. I was like, if I don't get law, I'm not going to study anything else. Nothing in the university is what me studying, giving 4 to 5 years to, if it's not law. So I got English and literary studies, I got education English, all that, but I was like, I'm not going to study these things. I wanted to study law. So when I got law, I was like,
that
finally,
sense of achievement.
That sense of achievement. So I felt on top of the world. My matriculation, I was like, let's show them. I'm going to flex this.
So that was your
degree.
Energy.
That was my energy
at the start.
Exactly. I came into law faculty feeling on top of the world. I was like, I'm the best motherfucker here. I'm the best person. You know, I came in with that confidence. I came in with that brash. You know, some would say arrogance, right? But I was like, many of you are just getting admission at your first try. I worked for this thing. I waited for it. So, you know, you can't tell me not
I can't help but feel myself, man.
I was feeling Jesus Christ. I was feeling myself, man.
You were feeling yourself, really.
Flex it. So that was my mindset, right? And then, you know, but if I could go back and
let's say
and
now,
tell myself
this
something.
Clifford Temple feeling on top of the world,
Yeah.
with everything that you know now,
Yeah.
if you should meet him,
Yeah.
at the door of the faculty or the entrance of the faculty
Yeah.
that day, what would you say to him? Like, what do you think you would tell him that would make a difference in your journey?
Don't stop making videos. That's what I would have just told myself. Don't stop. Don't listen to them. When I came into law faculty, I was making videos, right? I made a vlog about all my classmates, our first day in school, our first week in school, right? I made the first video. I made the second video. I had a friend, Ihechuku Ihelu, that is a music artist. I made a video for him, right? A music video-ish for him back then. And I just bought into the whole law thing. If you're a law student, you can't be doing anything else, or people will look at you differently. You know, there's this idea of what the ideal law student is supposed to be.
It feels like there's a rat race within the faculty
Exactly.
of law.
There's an idea of what the ideal law student is supposed to be, which is you're supposed to read, memorize the constitution, carry statutes in your head, you know, like be this studious person and don't do anything outside that, right? So I had people telling me, see this one where they carry camera, or this one where they shoot video. You sure say you go pass? You sure say, are you sure this place is for you? Are you sure you know what you're doing? So I found myself trying to fit into the idea of that ideal law student. And so I carried my camera and put it behind. I carried my video production skills and put it behind. And I suffered. I suffered and I didn't even know why I was suffering. Right? I was so unmotivated, so unfulfilled. I felt it was so soul-sucking. And I didn't even know why. I didn't even know that the reason why I felt so uninspired was because I took something I had so much passion for and I shelved it, right? So my 100 level, 200 level, I was about the whole law thing. I was trying to be the ideal law student. And then 300 level, I reached this place of mental breakdown. I was like, what am I even doing here? I don't want to do it again. In fact, let me just drop out. What's the point of all this? I'm not enjoying it. Let me stop pretending like I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm not enjoying it. And you know, it was Adanna, like, you know, our Adanna, my elder sister, our elder sister, our big sis. I called her on the phone and I told her, I can't keep doing this thing. I'm tired. I'm not enjoying it. I feel so uninspired. Every single day I walk into this environment, I want to kill myself. Right? Figuratively, I will never kill myself. So
feels like you're just dragging yourself through the motions, you know, but you're not even in it anymore.
Just dragging myself. And, you know, she talked to me and all that. And she talked to me. She made me understand the importance of finishing. This is the journey that you've started. You have to finish it. You understand? Now, it's not about being the best anymore. Just finish it. You have to complete something that you started, right? And then it was at that moment that I got my camera. I started making videos again. And then, you know, I felt like, okay, there was an incentive for me to continue. Because when I come to school, I would make videos, right? And so it made my academic journey more, it made it more palatable. It made it more appealing to me, right? Just continue. You have your video production on the side. Like, you're doing two things. And these two things are part of you. Just do them. So that was basically how it was, you know, along with the incredible people I met, you know. I met friends that really, really helped me, right? I have friends that helped me in the journey. Without them, I can't even... I can't even say that I would have been able to finish without them, because I would look at them and they were very inspiring. I would see how fired up they were to stay all night and study to improve themselves in this legal journey. And I'm like, okay, if they can do it, I can still do it. I can still find something in me, right? I'll talk to some of my friends on the phone. You understand? There's Frank, there's Kelechi, Chika, Nonso, Kizito, Vivian. I had people that, even if some of them I could talk to, and they'll talk to me. Some of them, I will just watch them from a distance and look at how better they keep getting at this whole law thing. And I'm like, okay, no carry last though. Just try. Just
carry body.
Rugged down.
That's
Anyhow.
the only way, man.
Anyhow. It's not about being the best. It's not about receiving a medal or an award. It's about, at this point, just finishing. So I just talked the whole thing, and that was basically my legal journey in a nutshell. Yeah.
So let's say, like, if you can go back to school and take like just one course again, which one will you pick?
If I can go back to school and take just one course again,
just one, just one. Pick one. I know a lot of students, you police like, God, I'm done with one course again. But if you're hard pressed to pick, like, which one would you pick?
Which one would I pick? Which one would I pick? I cannot say I'll pick it. I cannot point at any. There was no course that I was attached to like that.
Really?
Honestly, yeah. There was no course that I was attached to like that. So, honestly, no. All of them were basically the same to me. They were basically the same. I don't think there's any. Like when people say, "Oh, what was your favorite course?" I didn't have a favorite course.
Are you serious?
I had some courses that I preferred over others,
okay.
but I didn't have a favorite course. I had what I just had were least favorite courses, but I didn't have a favorite course. No, because law courses are brutal, man. They are challenging, right? And that was one thing that I found. That was one thing I found very, disorienting at first, because I've relatively scaled through most aspects of my life, or most phases of my life with relative ease. Things that come to me easily. And law was one thing that challenged me, that really challenged me intellectually, because, the textbooks are not even something that you read at first glance and you understand immediately. Like, you have to take time and break it down and all that. And so it was something that I found, it was very challenging. It was very challenging, mentally, intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, socially, every way, man. Yeah.
But you know what they say about challenges? That challenges make a man. Is that what it quote? I don't even know, but you get the point. Chat.
Yeah, challenges shape you, challenges form you.
So do you think,
formulate you?
or like, in what ways has being in the faculty of law, in fact, your entire experience as a student, as an undergraduate, how do you think it has shaped you for the future?
Man, it has shown me that I can talk something. I can rugged something and finish it. Rugged it and finish it. Like, do you get? There are some things that you might be doing and you feel like quitting. You understand? You second guess yourself and you be like, I want to quit at this point. And that idea of, now me finish this thing. I finished this degree.
I did it.
And I graduated.
Against all odds.
Right? So it sort of gives you this resilience that there's nothing else that you want to do that you're not going to finish. Right? So I would say that's like the biggest thing that I benefited. The biggest thing that I left the faculty with is that one way or another, I can finish anything that I'm starting. Right? You understand? Regardless of how it starts looking within the journey, because when you start most things, and that's how most things are in life, when you start at first, it's exciting, it's easy, you understand, relatively easy, and at some point it starts to get challenging, and then you begin to question why you even did it in the first place. You start to ask yourself, why did I even choose to do this thing?
Is it even worth it?
Yeah. But if you stick it through, and get to the end of it, you get to the other side, man, you start to find out that it was worth it. It was worth it, right? And I also feel like studying law, it gives me like this whole other aspect to myself. Like, I'm a multifaceted individual, And the best things you can do for yourself as someone who's multifaceted is to give yourself more dimensions to you. Like, give yourself more aspects to yourself, right? So in addition to every single thing that I already am, I am now a law graduate. I had this legal journey, right, that has shaped me in one way or another. It has added to me. It's an additive. It's an added layer to the complex individual that is me, that is Clifford Temple, right? So nothing bad can ever come from that. That's like a very huge gift, honestly. So I'm just grateful for it.
Do you feel like you're prepared for the future?
No. I'm not. I don't feel prepared.
There's this question that I don't know how many of it you've gotten already, but trust me, like you're still going to get more of that. Like, okay, guy, what next?
Yeah.
What next?
Yes.
So what next?
I don't know what's next though. What next is to take each day as I see it. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself, because law faculty, one of the things about law faculty is that it's this space where there's so much pressure to have a certain outcome, a given outcome, right? And having graduated, I'm at this place where I want to take each day as it comes. I want to see what life is going to turn out to be. I have no plans. I have no laid out expectations of how I want things to be, right? I want to see for myself. I want to find out. I want to uncover it as I go, right? So those questions of where do you see yourself in 2 years, in 3 years, they're all bullshit. You understand? I just want to get through tomorrow. I want to conquer each day as it comes. Yeah, so I don't think I'm prepared for the future, but I think I'm confident about the future. Like I'm confident in the sense that whatever comes my way, I go talk them. I go get them. Not me.
For sure.
Fuck that shit.
So let's say you made YouTube videos 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Before you started your law journey, like roughly 5 years ago, that you can look at now.
Yeah.
So let's say, because let's just take it as a game we're playing.
Yeah.
There is a Clifford Temple 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the future. So if you're going to tell him one thing, like there's this idea I love playing with, like burying treasures for yourself in the past, and then sometime in the future you can come back and hunt for those things. Yeah. So if you're going to tell Clifford Temple 5 years from now, just something like, so what would that be? Leave a message for yourself 5 years from now. What would it look like?
What does that really mean?
What would you say?
What do you mean by burying treasures for yourself in the past?
Okay, let me use your YouTube videos that you're currently making.
Okay.
Or even this podcast that we are doing right now.
Yeah.
My perspective to it is it's like a treasure for myself.
Yeah.
3 years from now, I will look back at what we are doing now.
Yeah.
And God knows what I might be dealing with at that stage of life, or what my life looks like. But I feel like there's no how I would go through these conversations we're having now and I will not find something in it for myself. Yeah. Like in the future, I'll be like, oh yeah, you're talking to yourself then. Yeah. And like the way I used to do it before is that I had these notebooks. There are some things that I wrote. I didn't even it didn't look like much or look like anything. And then there are certain things that I'm trying to figure out now. Yeah. I would see this old notebook lying somewhere in my cupboard. Yeah. I would just go through it and I would see something in the pages that I put down. I'm like, oh wow. It feels like I just found gold, So let's say now we're already doing that right now with the content you make on YouTube, with this podcast. Yeah. But now I want you to leave something intentionally.
Okay, so I should tell myself something in the future.
Yeah, tell yourself something in the future.
Okay. Basically, I will tell myself, Clifford Temple, 5 years from now, you're seeing this.
It's going to be a man. No, he's not even like a young adult anymore. Yeah. He's a full-blown adult at that stage.
So,
tell him something.
First of all, hopefully you're still alive.
That's the most important part,
Yeah, stay alive, man, regardless of whatever. Oh, yeah? That's the first thing. And, the second thing is that you would get everything that you want to get, right? I've always gotten everything I wanted to get. And sometimes I have to remind myself of that consciously. Whenever I start to doubt my ability to do something, I have a note where I wrote down every single thing Because most times we have this, we get into this frame of mind of focusing on the things that we don't have yet. Obsessing over, oh, I need this, I've not gotten here, the things that you lack as an individual, you find yourself focusing on that. Oh, if only I can get them. That you forget the things that you've already gotten, the achievements you've already had, the things you've already acquired. They become normal to you. So I have this note where I wrote down every single thing that I've gotten, everything I wished for myself that I eventually got, starting since I was a child. As early as with being class prefect or something like that, no matter how meager it is, every single important thing, everything that was truly important to me that I wanted, I've always gotten, right? And so I don't want myself to ever forget that. It's like, whatever you want, you're always going to get it. As long as it's what you want. Unless it changes, unless what you want changes to be something else. And if it becomes something else, you're going to get it. Whatever you want to have, whatever you want to get, whatever you want to acquire, whatever kind of person you want to be, you're going to be it, right? So that's just what I have to tell myself. Like, you'll be whatever you want to be.
You'll get it.
You'll get to wherever you want to get to. You acquire whatever you want to acquire. That's just it. No question. No matter how it's looking, no question. It's a guarantee. It's a mad guarantee.
I want to ask you one question.
Yeah.
Do you still have a hairline?
Do I still?
I want to ask him one question. Do you still have a hairline?
Do I still have a hairline?
Yes.
One way or another.
We go run it down. Let's talk about your hair. Because I feel like it's a bit atypical for law students. I mean, law students, they're supposed to be prim and proper, everything clean cut. And you had that look at the beginning. There's Clifford Temple at the beginning of his studies.
Yeah.
Clean haircut, with the fade and everything. And now, guy, where's your fade?
I don't waka kilometers.
Where's your fade? You have an afro.
I don't waka
What's up with that, bro?
The thing is this, I don't know.
How did you even survive with this hair? They not cut them.
How did I survive with this hair in law faculty?
How did not cut them, man?
I used to press my hair, right?
Press them.
Because I have a very coarse hair texture. Like 4C is what they call it.
No, your own is 4C extra 4C plus.
So when I comb my hair and I press it to just lie down. So that's
update. So for any other person that wants to grow their hair,
I'll press my hair because I started growing my hair around my 400 level. I started growing my hair. It definitely had nothing to do with the fact that barbing hair prices were becoming increasingly expensive.
Oh, but no. But you made your hair a couple of times, and getting your hair braided is always more expensive. Oh,
right?
Yeah.
That was just a joke. But I normally joke with my friends that I've saved a lot of money on barbing hair because I've not gone to a hair salon in like 1 year. Yes, so that's like a lot of money saved. But apart from that, I used to press my hair in school, and avoid lecturers, avoid face-to-face interactions with lecturers and all that. Then when I need to write exams, I'll tie a do-rag. I'm not exposing myself. If you won't catch me. Nobody can catch me again.
You don't graduate now. You don't grad.
Yeah. So I'll tie a do-rag in the morning.
Yeah.
And by the time I'm done dressing up, I'll remove it. My hair don't lie down. It don't flat well. So, yeah. But around 400 level, I decided to grow my hair because I want to do something different. I don't want to do the whole. I don't want to live my life in a way that is expected of me. I want to live my life the way I want to live my life. If my mind tells me to do something, I want to do it because I've noticed that I am the most fulfilled. I feel the most fulfilled. I feel the most happy, and I feel the most at peace. And things. I have the best turnout of events. I have the best outcome when I do the things I truly want to do. Like, I don't know if when I talk to you, I tell you things about like my mind told me something.
Oh, yeah.
Like my mind tells me things. And if my
you
mind
actually
tells me
have
to do
very
something,
good intuition. You do.
Exactly. So I just want to be following my intuition right now. If my mind tells me to do something, I'll do it. So, my mind told me, grow your hair out because I'm tired of barbing hair. I've been barbing hair all my life, and right now I want to do something different with my hair, which would involve me having to grow it out. And I just went and did that.
And now you have your afro.
Yeah, I just went and did just that. So, you may or may not see me on braids the next time we record.
That thing you said about like maintaining that, like trusting your gut, trusting your intuition, developing your own compass to guide you into the future. Choosing your own path and not wanting to just take what you're being given. I think at the end of the day, that's like the best attitude that you can take with you into the future now that you're a graduate.
Because there's one thing I really struggled with in school is people telling me what to do all the time, from your lecturers to everybody. People telling you what to do. There's how you're supposed to do. There's how you're supposed to do it. There's how you're supposed to live your life. There's how you're supposed to turn out. Somebody even came into my DM and even told me, this is my afro. I should go back to how my hair was before. Like I posted a throwback picture of myself in 100 level, and they were like, go back to how you were looking before. Like, people always tell you things, and I'm like, I want to develop my inner voice. I want to develop my intuition. I want to find and develop my voice. Like, what do you want? Who do you want to be? And school is a very terrible place to cultivate that voice, because a lot of people are telling you, oh, do this. You're being influenced by, not even influenced, because it's not even a choice. You're being mandated to be a certain way in school, right? And school does a very terrible job at helping you cultivate that inner voice, right? So I'm being someone that's always wanted to be my own person. Even in life, I've always found the route of entrepreneurship more appealing than graduating and getting an employment and getting a job, which seemed like the entire purpose of why we went to school, is to get a job, is to be employed, to pass the validation of somebody that is going to deem you employable, worthy of employment. And I came across this quote even before I came into the university, that when you're tired of breaking into the industries of the world, create your own industry and make the world try to break into you. And it has always, I've never forgotten it. Since then, I was like, okay, I will create my own industry. And then I got admission into law faculty. And it seemed like everybody's goal was just to graduate, get a job, get employed at Templars. That's like one of the biggest law firms in Nigeria. And it's like, that's everybody's goal. And I kind of felt bad, because I felt guilty because I did not want that for myself. I knew I didn't want that for myself. Even though I wasn't sure what I wanted for myself, I was sure of what I didn't want for myself, which was to graduate, get a job, start working in an office, become this whole official, rigid, strict person, and be doing paperwork all day and going to court and arguing about somebody's case that I don't even give a fuck about. I was not there when the issue started. Right? They always tell us in exam, advise the parties. And one of my friends, Buchi, he made a joke. Was I there when the parties started this issue? You're asking me to advise the parties. So at the end of our scenario questions, they will always tell us, advise the parties. So it's like, bro, I want to walk my own path. I want to discover my own path and walk it and create things for myself, create my own institution. And being in school was just something that I felt like I couldn't do that. I felt like I had to be a certain way. Even though once in a while you could touch me for a head and I'll just break out and do my own thing. But see, you're in an institution that is stronger than you. At the end of the day, they will tell you cannot fight the institution. So I always found myself at the end of the day having to bend, having to just do it, bend, right? And I'm happy that at least for now I'm out. Like, and I have time to pursue the things I'm really passionate about. You understand? And it doesn't take anything from the fact that I'm still grateful having passed through this institution. I'm still grateful, right? It's a very huge opportunity. At least the idea that I have a law degree that I can choose to activate whenever I want is a plus. It's a plus to the person that I am. So I'm not taking anything away from the institution. I'm very grateful, right? I never collect my degree. I want my degree. But it doesn't take anything away from the institution or anybody that wants to walk that path. Right? Anybody that wants to, pursue build a legal journey for themselves and all that. It doesn't take anything away from all the benefits that can come out from walking that path.
Yes.
Right. But I just feel like self-awareness is very important, and
everybody's journey is different.
And
everybody's story is very different.
So I'm just on that level where I want to find my own journey. I want to find my own path, and finally I'm free to do just that. And it feels good, man, being a graduate. Graduate, LLB.
Congratulations once again.
Thank you so much.
It's not easy.
Thank you so much.
This is like one more achievement. It is an achievement.
It is an achievement,
It's not easy to graduate school. It's not easy to be graduate.
At all, man.
It's not quite easy to be law graduate on top.
Bro, it's not easy.
So, congratulations.
I feel like people really underestimate how challenging law is. You understand? So, if you see lawyers, they buga, there's a reason why. No, like leave it for them, right? I'm not endorsing, arrogance and being an asshole and all that. But if you see, there's people always say that lawyers are proud or law students are proud, or there's a way they carry themselves, and it's like, why not? Because if you think of what you've been through, some people say there was if you think of what you've been through, if you think of how challenging it was, and you overcame it, definitely. Why won't you? You have to be proud of yourself. So I don't think there's any law student or lawyer that doesn't have a certain level of self-confidence and pride in themselves, because the journey cultivates that in you, right? By the time you don't pass through certain hurdles and you've seen yourself overcome certain things, definitely you're going to be proud. Like, you'll be proud of yourself, and that's just it, man.
I'm proud of you, though.
I'm proud of myself.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
And shout out to my parents, my mom and my dad. Shout out to my dad. Thank you so much for basically introducing me to this path, to letting me know what it means to be a lawyer, and developing my interest in wanting to study law. My dad is responsible for that. Thank you to my mom, who ensured that I had quality education while growing up, and they both overemphasized the importance of being an educated human being. You understand? And it was something that was highlighted a lot while growing up, even up until now.
Yes.
Daddy will always tell you, I hope you're studying and all that.
Hope you're studying. Make sure you read every day. Make sure you read and write something every day. Daddy loves education. Like
mad. So grateful to them. I'm super grateful to my siblings, my 3 sisters. I have 3 sisters, my 3 soldiers.
I'm representing all of them
representing all of them. Like, I'm so grateful to them. Like, I know how many times it got very tough, and I'll call them on the phone. And you guys will just talk to me and ginger my morale. Like, you guys will just talk to me on God, bro. And most times I normally ask myself, how do only children do it? Because really, I don't see myself being able to accomplish anything without my siblings. Like, you guys are literally like the reinforcements that make that enable me to do the things that I do, right? Even when it looks like there's no way here, right? And we always stand up for ourselves. We always stand up for ourselves, right? So, like, I'm so grateful for that. I don't even take it for granted. I don't take it for granted at all. So I'm so glad that I have that. I continue to have that. It's a privilege, I'm glad that we're back on this show.
We're back.
We have time to continue this show. You understand? Run our beloved podcast. So if you haven't subscribed, please
subscribe.
Hit the subscribe button. Cliffhanger is available on YouTube. It's available on every podcast streaming platform possible. But before you leave, please hit the subscribe button on this channel. We want to be the most subscribed Cliffhanger channel on YouTube. So, subscribe, and I think we're done.
It was a good one.
Until next time, thank you for hanging with us.
See you later.
See you later. Peace.